fourth graders. Today we are going to be finishing our self-portrait project. The self-portrait project is called You and Your Future Self. This artwork combines two elements, a self-portrait of you today and a more symbolic portrait about your future. The symbolic portrait is going to be using some self-expression and explaining a little bit more about your identity and who you are through some symbols that you create. This artwork is all about expressing something that you would like for your future. Once you put those two pieces together, the artwork is going to be finished and it's going to be a representation of you today and you in your future.
All right, my fourth grade artists, we have a lot to do today, so we're gonna get started off by talking about some things you're gonna need. You're gonna need your handy dandy pencil. You're going to need either a black marker if you have one, or if you have a black Sharpie, that is the best, that would be preferred. You're going to need this clear piece of paper that was in your art bag from the school. You're gonna need your sketch that we created last week, and you're going to need a white piece of paper. When you pull a white piece of paper out of your art bag, there is one that has the letters TB on it. Do not pick that one, pick a different one. That paper is a little bit thicker and we're going to use that for something later. With this clear piece of paper, you want to peel this sticker off of there. So peel that off and this will be ready to use. This is the part we're going to start with today. You are going to start by tracing your self-portrait onto this clear piece of lamination. When you trace this, try your best to stay on top of your lines and create your self-portrait, but on the clear piece of paper. When you are all finished tracing, you can lift this off of here and you should see a beautiful copy of your self-portrait. One thing I noticed is that if you have really short hair, you might need to draw ears on here. Go ahead and give that a go and just draw yourself some ears on there. You could sketch it out on your sketch first. When you're drawing an ear, they start at your eye line and go all the way down to your nose, the bottom of your nose that is, and you are being looked at from a frontal view, so you would just see a tiny sliver of them like this. You could then put that on top of here. That is if you think you should see your ears because your hair is short, or maybe it's tucked behind your ear. If you would like to draw those ears on there, you may. I am not, however, going to draw those on there. This is finished, and I'm gonna tuck this piece away because I am going to need that later when I attach it to my second part of my artwork. If you take a look here, it will be attached to a watercolor painting that looks like something like this. Now, this is my watercolor painting, but yours will be completely different because it's gonna be about what we talked about earlier, self-expression. Self-expression is when you express things about your personality or your identity in your artwork to convey a little bit about you in your works of art. This artwork that I have done is all about me and things I want for my future. Let's think about that for a second. What are some things you want for your future? Do you want to have a certain job? Do you want to live in a certain place? Do you want to have a certain pet? Do you want to have a particular hobby? Maybe you want to have a family or have some type of fancy house, or maybe you wanna have kids. It's up to you, but you're about to start thinking about it because now on this white piece of paper that you've got out of your art bag, you're gonna put your name on here, and then you are going to make a list from 1 to 10 down the side of the paper. When you are doing this, give yourself a little bit of space between the numbers. You want to have room to write, as well as later we will need room to draw. So I have my list 1 through 10, and I'm going to start thinking about things that I want for my future. Number 1, I want to get my master's degree. Number 2, I want to go to all 50 states. Number 3, I want to be a children's book illustrator. That's a job that I would like to have in the future. I would love to illustrate my own children's book. Use my art talent in a bit of a different way. Now, I'm going to continue working on this list, and you should continue working on yours. When you're all ready to go, hit play on the video and I'll explain the next step. Now, I know it might have been tricky to come up with 10 whole things that you want for your future, but if you're struggling and you need to cut it short at 8, that's okay. But if you can get to 10, that is fantastic. They don't have to be big things. They could be small things. Maybe you want to pet goldfish. Maybe you want to go to college. Maybe you want to play soccer when you're in high school. Maybe you want to join the debate team. You come up with whatever it is you want in your future. Now that we have these lists, we're going to create a sketch. Again, a sketch is a little practice drawing before you do it on the final copy. You're going to create a sketch for at least 8 of these. So sketch for 8 things. For my master's degree, I'm going to draw one of those little caps with a little tassel on it. And then I'm going to draw a diploma with a little scroll looking thing. Go to all 50 states. Maybe I want to draw an airplane. And maybe it's headed into a globe. Give a rough guesstimate on those there. All right, headed out into the world. Be a children's book illustrator. I'm gonna draw a book for that. Play tennis, that's an easy one. Draw a circle tennis ball. It's got lines on it like this. And you are working to create symbols to represent words that express what you want for your future. A symbol can often be interpreted in many ways, but you as the artist are going to know what it means. Okay, now that I have my sketches for 8 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm going to choose 5 that I want to use on the front. The ones that were easy for me to draw are always a good pick, or the ones that are most important to me, things that I really want for my future. So when you flip this paper over, you are going to be drawing them large on the front. When I say large, I want you to create a well-balanced composition. I would suggest drawing 2 things up top, 1 in the middle, and 2 at the bottom. When you draw these, you might want your objects to interact or overlap a little bit, or run off the edge of the paper. Those 3 things that I just described are how you create a well-balanced artistic composition. Fill the space you have, overlap some things, and sometimes let things run off the edges of the paper. I'm going to start drawing my things, and you'll notice that I try to display those qualities in my artwork as I go. Oh, as you see me drawing here, and before you get started drawing, remember to draw super lightly with your pencil. Don't press hard with your hand like this, or you will dent your paper and not be able to erase very well. Draw lightly with your pencil. Also, we're gonna be painting these guys, so there's no need to scribble anything in with your pencil to color it black. You want to leave all parts of the paper white, just creating outlines for you to paint inside of later. My next thing that I draw, I'm gonna really try to create an overlap. I'm gonna draw my camper here in the middle because it's kind of long. So notice I've overlapped that. I might need to go back and erase this little bit right here because my camper is now looking like it is in front of that National Park logo. The next thing that I'm going to draw, let me check and see, what do I want to do here? I'm going to get my master's degree and donate my hair, so I'll draw those. What could overlap things here? Well, I've got a good idea. This master's hat that I draw is going to run off the edge of my paper, and the tassel's going to come down over here. And then maybe when I go to draw that little diploma, I could draw that overlapping the hat a little bit and even running off the paper as well. The next thing I'm gonna draw is donating my hair. I don't want this to overlap too much, but I am going to use this whole space that I have here and create a girl. And again, a little pair of scissors here to show what's going on. You know what, maybe I'll put a little heart since that's a kind thing to do. All right, and the last thing that I'm going to draw is my children's book. And inside this children's book, maybe I should draw some illustrations since that is what it's supposed to represent. So I'm gonna draw a bumblebee. And I think that is good. Let's take a look at my composition. Did I fill the space? Yes, I did. There is very little background space to be had on this paper. If you were to draw your objects this teeny tiny, that would leave a lot of background space and not fill your paper. You need to draw big. Your objects should be about the size of your fist when they are finished. Next, did I overlap some things? I overlapped there, I overlapped there, and I overlapped right here. Check, I did it. The next thing I asked you to do is let some things run off the edge of the paper, which I did here, here, and down here. So that's awesome too. I got that too. I did all three things in order to draw an artistic, well-balanced composition for my future self.
I hope you guys did a fantastic job drawing your composition for your future self artwork. Now, don't forget this is only part 1 of this week's lesson, so make sure you check on the next video to learn all about watercolor techniques that you'll be using to paint the composition that you just created. Enjoy painting! Go check it out!